Hey guys, what's up? I am Rosie, and I have something that I've had on my mind for the past 2 or 3 years now. Today, I watched some documentaries about Michael Jackson, and it was about the discrepancies and the lies told by Wade Robson and James Safechuck. And I have to say that I think these two dudes are just lying liars who lie. Like, I don't think they have a shred of truth in them. They took the narrative of me and so many other children and so many other people, and they stole it and they put Michael in the place of the villain to make him look bad, to really destroy his memory and his legacy, just so they could try to make some money. And it pisses me off. It offends me. And I would tell them to their faces that they're lying. I would scream it at them, and somebody would have to hold me back from doing something violent, because that's how I feel whenever I hear them lying about what they said he did to them. Because not only because Michael took them under his wing and gave them a platform or whatever, and helped Wade Robson start his career as a dancer, and let him use his name for years, riding his coattails saying, "I'm Michael Jackson's friend, we're close friends." You know, not only did Michael do that and helped his family to buy a house, and they were supposed to pay him back and never did, until the point that he just just wrote off the loan and just let it go. But he just he benefited so much from Michael, because Michael was such a good person and he loved to be around kids. And even Wade Robson's mom said, I would sit outside the door of the room that Wade and Michael were in, and I don't remember everything she said, but basically the way she said it, it was as if she was listening to two little boys talking about their dreams and aspirations. Just two things two little boys would talk about. And she didn't sound like a parent who was afraid for her child. She didn't sound like a parent who was concerned that her baby was in danger. Because she had every right to knock on that door and take her kid out of that room. But she never did. She just sat outside of the room and listened to them talk. And at no point was anything inappropriate said. And nothing inappropriate was done. And Wade Robson claims to have been molested hundreds of times when he wasn't around Michael that many times. Claimed to have been on tour with him, that it happened on tour, and he never toured with Michael Jackson. Some of the times that he was at Neverland Ranch, Michael wasn't even there. And so it's like, where did he spin these yarns? Where did he get these lies from? And why are you trying to destroy the legacy of a man who was so good to you for so long, and you called him your friend? You don't do that to a friend. And there are so many witnesses and so much testimony against them. So many lies have been uncovered since that documentary. And the guy who did the documentary, I think it was said in the video that I watched today, this guy probably thought he was going to win a Pulitzer. And I think that they probably thought a fallout was going to happen of little boys coming forward left and right, like all those women did with Bill Cosby, like a few people did with Usher, like so many women did with Tiger Woods, and I think that they thought that was going to happen, that they were going to be able to sort of get in front of a crowd of Michael's quote unquote victims and say, I'm with you, I stand with you, I walk with you, I believe you. You know, they were gonna, they wanted to present themselves as heroes, and also to get some money. Because this was also said in the video, whenever any kind of accusation was made against Michael, they never went to criminal court. They never tried to get him arrested. They always went to civil court first. They always just wanted to settle. One of the dads even was on a phone saying how Michael was going to be destroyed and how he was going to get whatever he wanted, because he wanted Michael, he demanded that Michael get him a screenwriting job or something like that, or some kind of screenwriter's deal. And when that didn't happen, he wanted $20 million. And Michael said, no way in hell. And so, and when he settled out of court, Michael didn't want to do that. He was advised to do it, and he didn't want to. He thought that was the wrong move because it made him look guilty. It made him look like he was paying somebody off to be quiet. And when that man was found out to be a liar, when he was found out to have only done that to try to blackmail Michael, he killed himself. He killed himself the same year that Michael died. And when I found that out, I didn't feel sorry for the guy at all. I'm sorry, but that's just how I felt. And so Wade Robson and James Safechuck took the stories of so many victims and tried to pervert it into their own for monetary gain. And another reason I know that they're lying is because they show none of the signs of a person who suffered something like that. There are no signs of PTSD. There are no signs of past trauma. And how dare Wade Robson say that he was on a healing journey? You motherfucker, you. Oh, sorry. Okay, I was raped when I was 4 years old. I won't say who did it, but it happened. And I was taken away from my mom after it happened. I remember every detail of it. I remember how it felt. I remember how he smelled, because he had this sickening, disgusting smell of a dirty body, just gross. And I remember how heavy he was on me. I remember how much it hurt. I remember screaming and crying and begging him to stop. I remember how terrified I was because I was in pain and didn't know what he was doing to me. And I didn't know why he was doing it. I remember just everything about it almost. I remember being confused and just not understanding. I remember that my 2 or 3-year-old cousin was standing beside the bed the entire time, watching the whole thing. She was watching the whole thing. And I remember just being left on the bed like a dead piece of meat, and I was crying. And the way my sweet little cousin, rest her soul, tried to comfort me was she just put her little hand on my shoulder and said, "He was on you, Roz?" And I don't remember anything after that. That night, my mom gave me a bath, and when she washed my little area, I screamed. It was a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream because it hurt, it burned, it stung. And when she laid me out on the bed to see what was wrong with me, she obviously must have saw something because she was upset. And not only that, but she knew who did it. And I remember she was screaming, and she was crying, and she was yelling, and she was threatening. I don't remember who was all there that night. I remember my grandmother being there and nobody else, but the person who did this was not there. He was 15 at the time he did it. And I remember my mom took me to the hospital the very next day, and she got me checked out. And when we were leaving the front desk, I looked back behind me, and the lady at the desk picked up the phone. And I don't know why that stands out to me. I just remember looking back, and she picked up the phone. She could have been answering it, I don't know, but she picked up the phone. And by the time my appointment was over, this lady came to pick me up, and she took me away to this girl's home. And years later, I asked my mom how long was I gone, and she said about a week. When I was a kid, it seemed like so much longer, but of course I had no perception of time back then. But she said I was gone about a week until she moved and we would be somewhere safe. But where we went was no safer than where we were, but at least I wasn't being raped. I was molested by the same person again when I was 8 years old. Anyway, I didn't have to go into full gory detail about body parts and all of that. And I'm feeling kind of triggered right now, you know? And Wade Robson and James Safechuck used the most disgusting, vile, gross, gory descriptions that they could come up with for shock value. And since they had no emotional attachment to those words whatsoever, they didn't show any signs of trauma. At one point, Wade Robson even said, "I thought about him doing that to my son," and he kind of smirked. And that confused me. If that's a true story, why would you smirk? I thought about the person who did that to me doing that to my kids, and I got angry. I didn't smirk. I didn't laugh. I frowned. I got a look of disgust on my face, and I was pissed off thinking about what if he hurt my children. There's no smirk. There's no laughter, there's no smiles. But if you look at their disgusting documentary, they're smirking, they're laughing, they're smiling. And people actually believe them. And that's just gross to me. That's gross. But I'll never believe them. And just like the radio stations and TV stations turned their backs on Michael and decided to mute Michael Jackson, I will never mute Michael Jackson, and I will never turn my back on him, because I don't believe he did that. I don't believe them for a second. Every little boy who has come out against him before turned around later and said, it was all lies. He never did anything to me. Michael was nothing but gracious and kind and generous. But those two, even Corey Feldman decided to believe them. And for that, I'm disgusted with him. So screw Corey Feldman, and screw Wade Robson, and screw James Safechuck. And that's what I have to say about it. I mean, Corey Feldman was a victim of child rape. He, of all people, should know the signs of trauma. He really disgusts me. And whereas I once supported Corey Feldman, I don't anymore. So if you want to believe those two lying liars who lie, go ahead. But I don't. And with that, you guys, I'm angry, so I'm going to go now. I thank you for listening. Love you guys very, very much. Talk to you later. And hope to see you on the next upload. Bye.